Yo. Yo, 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 yo. I was about to go live, do my own thing, and then, I mean, when I say literally, as I'm putting together the stuff in StreamYard, I see Nick Fuentes post going live in an hour, and it was a post from an hour ago on with Elijah Schaffer, and those are two of my favorite guys to follow. I don't know, sometimes when people go live, it's delayed for me. So I don't know if they've gone live yet, but we're going to do a watch party. Yeah, it is a little funky, elevator movie-like stuff. This is actually a sample. Well, it's a live band playing an MF Doom produced track. It's the OMA band I played last live. So it does. This one does sound like elevator music. They have better. This is a whole set they did. With MF, they did covering MF Doom songs. Okay, how about this? Okay, no more elevator music. If you get in an elevator and it sounds like this, just nod your head. This is live too. They did it literally live. It's a nice performance. That bass line is nasty on this. This is that super villain theme. How about accordion? Y'all know accordion, MF Doom. A little accordion, how's that? A little accordion sample in hip hop. This is like MF Doom, rest in peace, man. This brother was on another level. Just head nodder after head nodder. Let me refresh the page. I want to see how it starts. He's going to have that splash screen, though, too. So I guess I'll just keep it here if I don't think it started. Somebody in the chat said, being on time is racist. So I guess they haven't started. What's up? Screwed up. Oh, it's Screwed Up Texas now. Okay. I was like, Screwed Up. Wait, what? No, what's up? Screwed Up. Haven't chat. Well, I think I seen you on X a little bit. But yeah, nice to see you, man. A little earlier tonight. No, it was cool. Yeah, no, you're not making fun of it. But it wasn't. It wasn't a head nodder though, Scotty. Scotty's talking about how it sounded like elevator music. It did. But it wasn't like MF Doom, man, makes you nod your head more. What else we got? Potholders in here. I don't know if anybody's diehard MF Doom fan. Ooh, listen to the rhythm on this is crazy. Wait until I think it's a guitar that comes in. It's nasty. Okay, so now we getting down. Now we getting good. This is gonna be a watch party, y'all. We're about to crash out on the J's together like this. Like, yeah, okay. I'm just trying to imitate the dancing Israelis, y'all. Let's get hype. Let's get hype. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm calling Nick Black from now on. Nick, you got your nigga card officially. He starts well, he's actually been on time more recently. I know he had a couple late ones. But back in like 2 years ago, that nigga was like 2 hours late to his lives. Nick, you got your nigga card. Congratulations. I don't have one. How's it feel? You got your black card. You can crash out on straight black men. That's what the blacks do. They do these goofy dancing. I don't know if you've seen this goofy dancing Democrat tap dancing videos. Congratulations. You have your black card. You're an honorary black, Nick. I know that was your lifetime achievement, but I know that wasn't your goal in life, but you got it. Yeah, this is cool. This is MF Doom is so cool, man. And for Scotty, for this group to turn it into a band and then play it like almost like jazz, because the samples are from like R&B, soul, and jazz and breakbeats. It just gives it a whole new vibe to it, man. If MF Doom was alive and could spit to this live, woo! It's a hip hop artist, if anybody doesn't know. Here's One Beer. I like this song. I like this one. Has he been going back to that, George? Nick, you're not going back to the 2 hours late stuff. I remember being in the chat. It wasn't often, but I'd be in the chat like 2 hours and be like, I don't know if he's going to go live tonight. And I'm not going to be one to talk. I try going live every night, man. That is not easy, man. That bro Monday through Friday, goes live every night with straight heat and fire on these political. I mean, his main rants are all like, it's the perfect level of depth for politics where you're not too nerdy, but you're not like, and no diss to Tim Pool. Tim does his thing. They're not knocking him right now. If I want to knock Tim, I'll knock him. But, Tim is more like, kind of pop-ish with the mainstream stories. And Nick will take a slice of that pie and turn it into like a storytelling time. And you just like, I don't know. I mean, I actually know a lot of stuff now, but sometimes he'll talk about inside ball or whatever. I don't know. I'm like, it's interesting just the way he lays it out. And then the super chats come and then he just crashes the hell out. The super chats is like a whole different show. Oh, Derek O'Shea, what's up? We got to get him on. I just don't stream enough, period, anymore. I don't even know when I'm going to stream. I didn't even know till right now, but we got YouTube royalty in the building. Derek O'Shea, what's up? He said, come on, brother, love me some MF Doom. Okay, let's go. MF Doom is the stuff. What? Oh, no. What's going on? They took that motherfucker down before it even started? No. Oh, okay. He's probably just going to do a new one. Yo. Maybe he might not do one. Maybe he's like, this is going to get too spicy. Damn, then that means I can't stream it on YouTube then I could. What is going on? Maybe they did start it. Let me go to Elijah Schaffer's channel. Derek O'Shea, what's going on? Did they have to pull it before it started? Okay, now it may be live now. Okay, here we go. 33 seconds. We are showtime. 30 seconds. Nick Fuentes and Elijah Schaffer. Two of the best in the business right now. Now remember, we'll see if they talk about it. I'm not going to talk too much over this, guys, but it's 22 seconds. Remember, they were supposed to do that thing with the monster, whatever they were going to call it. I forgot what they were going to call it. Thanks, Derek O'Shea. Appreciate you. He probably going live. He does a lot of recording. Great show. Follow that channel, Derek O'Shea Show. But it was going to be Sneeko, Myron, Elijah, and Nick. And Sneeko was the odd one to bring the tension, but Elijah's different too.
My good friend Ian Hayworth. He's one of the intellectual greats in the country right now. I was sitting around thinking about who are the smartest people in the world. And I came up with 5, right? James Lindsay, which of course was an automatic first. Whenever I think of intellectualism, and having sexual experiences with your own daughter, checking out people's butts, he comes to mind. Then secondly was, of course, Seth Dillon, because obviously Christ is King is a very anti-Semitic phrase, and you shouldn't question anything, and if you do, you're taking money from Qatar. 3, I would put Joel Berry up there. He's pretty good. I would say he's up there. And number 4, of course, we'll say 5th for later, is Ian Hayworth. Check out my screen here. He said, everything they say about Israel is true about Qatar. And that's a very true statement. You know what I mean? I remember when Charlie Kirk kissed the wall of the Qatari Emirates. I remember when when the premier of Qatar came in and spoke in Congress, and there was a round of applause. Even the president, Zelensky, even wore a suit, right, for the president of Qatar. I mean, these people really are in charge. And I just got to say thank you to Qatar, for funding the show. My guest today is very proud, actually. When I showed him the duffel bag. I showed him this duffel bag, and he said, "Wow, prop humor? That is some good stuff. Some prop humor is really good." That's what you told me, right? You said, prop humor, it's high-class stuff. You must have a really educated audience. This show must be funny, is what you told me.
That's right. Yeah, it's my favorite. Well, I thought the bit, you were supposed to have somebody come in with the Qatari money and say, here's the Qatar money, and yeah, that's good.
Yeah, except for the fact that my crew's brown, because they're brown, and so you can't trust them to do anything, especially with money. I'm not that stupid. I'm not gonna give cash to the brown people. It's like then I'll get half of it back. You know what I mean? If I'm gonna take corrupt money, I want it all in. Anyway, we got a great show for you guys tonight. We're gonna be talking about Trump, whether he failed us, what's going on, because as you know, me and my guest tonight, his name is Nicholas Fuentes. He is the host of the podcast America First. It is here on Rumble and on Cozy.tv. I think that's the correct way to say it. For people that don't know, I mean, that's a very basic introduction. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who are you? And why are you here?
Yeah, well, I'm here to do the show with you, and I do a show called America First on Rumble. I'm holding it down for the far right. This whole Trump movement, whole right wing, seems to be a little bit lost these days. It's being pulled in a lot of different directions, so I'm here to provide a little clarity. But it's good to be with you. I think this is our third show that we've done together on Slightly Offensive, 3rd or 4th.
Yeah, 3rd or 4th since like 2019. 2019, I think, was the first one. It's been about 6 years. And through that, man, we've gone through a lot. I mean, you almost got killed.
I did.
Yeah, and they try to kill your career. But then what was weird is then they ended up trying to murder you. And so someone was like, oh, why don't you guys do a show together soon? And I was thinking, like, there's some excuses that I would say would be bullshit. But getting killed wouldn't be one of them. You know what I mean? So you took some time. You're doing all right, right?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thankfully, nobody's tried to kill me since, so that's great.
Yeah.
But,
well, we're happy about that. Anyway, also on my left is my co-host and, of course, producer here, Michael Hennessy of Snowflake_News. How are you doing?
Doing good, man. Excited for the show. Very happy we got Nick here. So I know this is going to be a banger of a show, and I'm just excited. So.
And in the control seat, taking care of production and holding it down for the Browns straight from the South, Michael Mendoza of the Mendoza Report, MendozaReport.com. Click on the tab, Mendoza Report. Click on the report and his title, and you will find the report from Michael Mendoza. Welcome back to the show, sir. You're muted.
Sorry about that. I'm back. Okay. Thank you. Good evening. It's good to be here. Happy to be here again, and happy that Nick finally made it out, so it should be a good show.
Yeah. He did make it out. Anyway, we have a great show for you guys today. Just reminding you guys just something important that I don't think we even have like the lower third for this, but we are doing a giveaway of a Cybertruck and $30,000 cash.
We try to have fun, and we're going to enjoy the show. Good Gravy says, has Nick kissed a girl yet? Come on, man. Let's get hyped for the show, man. We getting the right mindset.
It's not the show, but I thought it was kind of cool because it's a small batch coffee. We sponsor a lot of people, right? Like including Fresh and Fit and different people like that. Big sponsors on Rumble, but we're giving away a Cybertruck, and even better, Dave Rubin drove it. You know what I mean? Which is like he makes it even better. He did some promo stuff with it, and so we thank him for that. Big fan over here. We know.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, Rubin Report. Favorite show. Second favorite show.
To the Mendoza Report, your first favorite show, right?
That's right. Yeah.
But make sure you go to 1775coffee.com/VNN, win the Cybertruck, fully mogged out. It's got everything that you need, plus $30,000 cash. Use that promo code VNN, check it out. All right. My guest today is Nick Fuentes, and we're going to talk about a few things. I was going to go to start with some of the Trump stuff, but I feel like it's not actually the best way to start. So we'll just jump right into it. So there's this narrative that has gone around, okay? This just popped out of the middle of nowhere. Candace Owens, the queen there, our black queen, she ended up going on Theo Von, right? Apparently they live next to each other. It's a comedy podcast. You got Ian Carroll going on Joe Rogan, and then Andrew Tate existing, right? I think you and Andrew Tate, it's like kind of tie for, you don't really need to go on anything or do anything. Your existence makes people cope and seethe. What is that like?
Oh, it's a little annoying, actually. I just want to do my show. I mean, I've been doing my show for 8 years, and as long as I've been doing it, people are just not happy. Like I said, people are trying to kill me in my house for doing a stupid show, saying stupid shit on Twitter. People seething about me constantly, but, somebody's got to do it. I mean, what I represent in the right wing, unlike a lot of people, is I represent the immovable standard of what it is to be the right wing. Everybody is making deals and trying to be political, moving the ball down the field, whatever that means. And what I represent is the immovable standard of what it is to be right wing, nationalist. And the way that I think about it is this. A lot of people say, do I have the best approach in the way that I, my tactics or how I tell the full truth? And I say that I'm not thinking about approach. I'm thinking about the truth. My job is to tell the truth, and other people can do what they want with it. I'm here to arm people with the facts. I'm here to inform the right opinions. And if I wasn't doing it, nobody else would be doing it, because everybody's saying, oh, I can't say this because, so-and-so's paying me. I can't say that because I can't go against Trump. Can't go against Israel, can't go against, one thing or another. So somebody has to be just not always thinking about setting plays. Somebody has to be thinking about what's actually real. And that's my job. So and I think in some ways that's Andrew Tate as well.
Well, but then again, you also, which I do like Andrew, but I do think you guys have a little bit different set of morals.
Yeah, that's certainly true. Because he's Muslim, so well, ostensibly.
Yeah, but I mean, you did tell me that you did weigh the options between, sleeping with hoes and, and you thought, you were like, hey, cigars, cars, hoes. And you called me one day and you're like, maybe I'll just choose Catholicism. But also, pimping out the hoes did sound like a good idea. I'm glad you chose the other, though. I know it was a hard decision for you.
Yeah, it was tough. Yeah, we could either do the OnlyFans thing or we could do the Catholic trad thing. So, yeah, it was close.
He woke in the morning, he's like, do I say my rosary or do I make women strip down naked and sell their pussies for money? And you know what? It is a tough decision for some people. I do like Andrew. I'm just fucking around there. But we all make different choices, but we're about allies here. That's the key thing, man. Yeah. It's about allies. What's weird is that we took a picture together at CPAC. We're gonna jump in the topic in a second, but we took a picture together. And the weirdest part about it was I had people unfollow me and I got people in my DMs like, bro, do not go down this path. And I was like, the path of hanging out with a virgin Catholic person, like, what is the path? You know what I mean? Like, bro, you fucked 35 girls in like 1 week in Vegas last week. What path? Your path? Steven Crowder's ex-wife path? Like these people are like virtue signaling on the internet, and it's like, what path? I just find it to be interesting because there's very few people that I know personally besides you and Tate that just even like being in the same room is enough. I think he got Ashley St. Clair fired. Remember that? Yeah.
Well, they always say, no, she didn't get fired. She got kicked out of the influencer program. She was an ambassador or whatever. But I mean, it's a difference without a distinction. But yeah, no, it's weird how, and maybe this is part of the bigger conversation about Theo Von and Candace and Ian Carroll on Joe Rogan. There was a time for about 5 or 6 years when I was totally radioactive. And why? I mean, for saying a lot of the things that are now mainstream, for criticizing Israel, for being a social conservative, for being against anti-white politics. And, I remind people those were actually the 3 big issues that propelled the Groyper War, which is what put me on the map. We were going against Charlie Kirk. It was 1, we're against legal immigration, replacement migration. 2, we're social conservatives. So when he was promoting Rob Smith, the gay black veteran, we said that's not the best idea. That's not the best thing. And then 3, when it comes to the state of Israel, we're America first. That applies to all countries, the allies, adversaries, Israel, Qatar, Russia, China. It applies to all of them. Yes, even Israel. And it was those 3 things that got me canceled. It was those 3 things, which is why now, if you're in a picture with me, you get fired. If I go on your show, they pull your sponsors. People get in trouble. Alex Stein, Hodge twins, people get in trouble for it. And that used to be the reason why that happened. But now I look around and I'm like, everybody's saying this stuff now. Matt Walsh, Charlie Kirk, even people that are more in the middle, that Viva Frei guy, even he was saying some of this stuff. So it's like, if everybody's criticizing Israel, if everybody's anti-white, everybody's against legal immigration, everybody's a social conservative, why am I still canceled? Wasn't that the whole thing? I was just ahead of the curve. I was just saying it a year early.
But that's what I told you. I go, look, this is why the boys got to have friends, because I'm telling you, 2000.
Real quick, that's why I said Nick. I think Nick is going to get back on YouTube in 2025. Let's see.
25 is going to be the year of uncanceling Nicholas J. Fuentes. Let's go. Give me some confetti.
I'm watching this live, y'all. I had no idea who was going to say that. That's been my take.
Please. We don't just have physical props; we have digital props too.
I love that.
We still have we have it all. No, but that is a good question, right? I mean, because here's what you're saying. Like, okay, Hennessy over here, people don't know you. You were about to go to jail for 5 years. About what? A couple weeks ago?
Yeah, February 5th was actually my court date to go in front of the jury.
Because his looks were killing the girls. You know what I mean?
Elijah 4K.
Yeah. He's a better looking version of me. But you're about to go to jail.
Yeah. It was a scary situation. I was looking at 5 years, as I mentioned, and I had an Obama judge too, so I knew it was going to go terrible, whatever happened there. But luckily, I got the pardon, and now I was at CPAC with you. So it's like a big change. It goes from being like, okay, I'm going to go to DC to go to jail, and now I'm just at CPAC with meeting
now you're
everybody.
At the Gaylord with the Gaylords.
Yeah.
That was a good time. Well, look. But this is what you're saying about not being canceled. I want to bring this up. This is fun. We're gonna have some fun. Want some fun? Let's start with some fun stuff. All right. SlightlyOffensive.com journalist Sarah Stock, bring up my screen, said, I'm officially not a conservative anymore. Because that's what you're saying. If everyone is this kind of conservative, then what's going on? So let's talk about conservatism. Where are we right now? She's like, I'm a Christian and a nationalist. And she posted this picture of a man named Josh Cider? I don't know. If you have a problem with two dudes in bed together, you're not a true conservative, all right? And,
Wait, what? Is that another one?
Okay.
Is that another one?
I thought this was
definitely a turning point, crew.
What is going on?
I obviously we all kind of know what you think about this stuff.
Oh my!
But I mean,
what the?
Let's just talk about this, because I do think there are some issues. She wrote an article for our website, slightlyOffensive.com, about like 10 issues that conservatives gave up on. Right? So they kind of redefined conservatism. One of them is this gay stuff. Right? We've sort of embraced. Fully embraced the gayness, and you were fighting that with Rob Smith, right? You guys, the whole question was, how is anal sex a conservative value?
Right.
I mean, we did give up on this, right? I mean, what do you think about this? I mean, are we really winning if we're talking about all these issues, but this is one we're not talking about? Have you changed your opinion on this, or what do you take about the fact that conservatism is gay now?
Yeah, well, it always has been. It always has been. And the thing is, and this is part of what I say, the conservative movement is supposed to profess Christian social conservative values. But that's because the audience and the voters are Christians and conservatives. The people that run the conservative movement are actually not very Christian. They're Jews, atheists. A lot of them are gay. And for a long time, there was a pretense that they were Christian. There was a pretense that they were socially conservative. But that's all it was this facade. And so they would go and promise the voters, hey, we're part of this moral majority. We're socially conservative. And yet the country always moved more left-wing. And you wonder why that is. It's because the things that they really care about, the interests that propel the Conservative Party, are economic ones. So the Conservative Party is about cutting taxes for the rich. The Conservative Party is about free trade. They're in favor of immigration. It's not values-driven, it's interest-driven. It's not driven by the values of the voters, but by the interest of the donors. And so, we came out very strongly in 2019 and said, look, we are conservative. We have MAGA hats. We have rosaries. We're the actual people that make up the base, and we don't actually think it's acceptable to promote things that are sinful. And, in the case of Scott Presler, he's a nice guy. I mean, I've met him. He's a friendly enough person. And whenever people attack him, all the conservatives circle the wagons and say, oh, he's this great guy. He did a lot in Pennsylvania. But the question is discretion. Is there a place for discretion? I mean, he's living that lifestyle. It's not Christian. It's not Catholic. Is that something conservatives should be promoting? And when conservatives say there's nothing wrong with this is fine, you're going to have this, and it is what it is, that's where I say, what are we really doing here? What is really the purpose of organizing as the right wing if we're promoting left-wing values? I believe if that's your cause, you want to promote homosexuality or non-traditional sexuality, be on the left. That's the left-wing coalition. What is it to be right-wing if we support all the things the left wing does? But we're just going to kind of go a little bit less. So trannies, but not for 8-year-olds. Over the age of 8, we're fine with it, but not
the
for
right
under
to
8.
cut your dick off as long as you're 18.
Exactly.
I want to be able to drink a beer and remove my balls. You know what I mean? This is America, damn it. But hey, to the children, now that's fucked
Well,
up.
that's funny. Come on,
But it
though.
is true though. It is it's a not just the reason why it's weird with some of these issues is because they go, well, we're moving the goal.
Sorry, just real quick. That picture that they showed with Scott Pressler and the Josh guy, that was 4 hours ago posted. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I think I'm out on Scott Pressler.
Post, right? We're trying to actually change their justifications. We're going to change the discretion. Eventually, we're going to win, right? So we're going to get it to 18, and then once we get that victory, then we'll go further. But it doesn't seem like they actually do go further. And also, why are we even playing with the goalpost? Why don't we nuke it? Like nuke the goalpost, right? It's like it's the issue isn't a debatable one. It's about this might need to be illegal actually, or something to that regard. And also, there's an understanding that there's always been people who like swing that way or whatever, but we need to get people back in the closet. Like that's what we should be telling people. Like, hey, you need to be celibate, or you need to like serve God. And if you struggle with this or you have that issue, we don't hate you for having a problem or a struggle, because all have sinned, all have fallen short of the glory of God. Romans 3:23. But you're not going to be in a conservative organization, just like you can't be in a picture with Nick Fuentes. You can't be in a picture with a Catholic guy, but you can be in a bed together with another guy, and you'll get invited to speak at the White House. And I like that guy, Scott Presser. I like him. He's a nice guy. I've worked with him directly, and I've no ill to say about him as a person. In fact, there's a lot of people I agree with. This is a key thing that I don't like, because they're just shitty people. And he's a nice person, but I will say there's no way that anyone looks at look at this. There's no way this doesn't just make everyone a little uncomfortable. Put that on the screen. It's just a little uncomfortable, That's why I think down here, our journalist said, homosexuality is so degenerate. She just converted to Catholicism, by the way, that it feels unchristian to even talk about it, what it actually entails. And it's insane that average people, let alone conservatives, ever accepted this as normal, let alone positive or wholesome. And obviously we got two other gay guys on the show, Michael and Mr. Hennessy here, which know a lot about that. You know what I mean? They just got out of a long-term relationship with each other. No, but I mean, it is interesting, right? This is an issue. I'm from a city, from Chicago, from LA. We're in a very Jewish city right now. This is their culture, right? But it is weird though. Like there is a level for even me from being in LA where like that does make me uncomfortable. Seeing like two interesting looking fellas just like cuddling up, like acting like there's like a very feminine version. It's like, I don't want to see a man act that way. It just seems a little bit too much, right? I think we draw the line here.
I agree with you. It's definitely something I personally don't want to see, in the way that it's like flaunted online, shown, and everybody protecting it. Like somebody can be a good person, but still the actions that we see on the internet or the things that they're doing, that doesn't mean that we have to agree with everything that they're doing. So something like that is way off from where we need to be. If he does something by himself, behind closed doors, that's a whole different thing. I'm not going to push there, but to have it in our faces like this, and then everybody running to support it and being like, oh, this is something great, that's where we really run into the trouble.
Absolutely. And guys, we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff here, because I want to talk about more things on the right wing, but I don't think we ever won that, because like Rob Smith is like basically in the White House, Like he was against Trump. Like what's kind of crazy is too, there's always a double standard. So like, oh, well, you can't support Trump or anything he's doing because you were against him in the beginning. You can't celebrate him winning. It's like, well, Rob Smith was, I don't know, getting fucked in the ass or some shit like that, maybe, who knows? But I mean, he was going out and he was on this high horse and like, I regret ever wearing that hat and whatever, and flipped on him, and now he's a MAGA guy again. And that's like what's kind of crazy is like the standard, as long as you're just not Nick, or as long as you're not Tate, and they've done this now. There's this new thing that Jeremy Boring even put out, like if you associate with Tate, you're not welcome in the conservative Inc. circle. This gatekeeping is public now. It used to be private. They used to deny it, and now they accept it. But guys, speaking of gatekeeping, I want to tell you guys something very important here. Unfortunately, Nick is not allowed to have ads on his show because he's been deemed unallowed to bank in the country, and he's not allowed to be human. Like DeSantis said, I'm glad they finally said it. American citizens aren't welcome in our country, in our state, right? I mean, there's a 2-tier system, but we do have ads We are demonetized, and we appreciate you guys supporting them and supporting your health. I want to talk to you about Purge. This is an amazing product, by the way, for 3 reasons. So a lot of people think they have IBS, gut problems. Everyone's got gut problems. But the truth is that whether you've eaten sushi, whether you've been eating, other things, won't get into it. But there's
He's doing a drop here, and I really should play the drop since I'm going off his live. But I would talk over it, but I don't want to interrupt it. Man, y'all, See, the thing with Scott Pressler is, if you follow the channel, I've supported Scott since, I jumped in the YouTube stuff in 2020. And I think I started supporting Scott after the J6 stuff. After he got on the J6 committee list, these lives are still up. I did not know who he was, had no idea who Scott Pressler was. I was like, I saw Bryson Gray, and I had just gotten into Bryson Gray. And I didn't know who Scott Pressler was. I'm like, who is this dude? What they named in the committee, the J6 committee, they listed the bunch of people, Jack Posevec, Bryson Gray, I forget who else was on there. There's a couple others. Scott Pressler was on there. I'm like, damn, they calling out names. And then I looked into it, and I was like, oh, he's actually probably one of their top names on there that they would like to do, lock up or whatever, because he's a political force of nature. And it looks like this Josh guy, and I did a video on him, man. He was on with the homie Alex Stein, who I support. I like Alex Stein. He was on with Tim Pool, and I was like, this bundle of sticks, man, I can't rock with this. I don't know who this dude is. He comes across as phony. He's the one that when he dressed up like a woman to try and, I guess, own the libs or whatever. Let's get back to the show, man. My take is, if Scott doesn't speak out against this, I'm probably out on him.
It's a very, very true thing. Checking this out, I did want to talk about this. We talked about a little bit about the gay stuff. But I'll kind of wrap it up on that. Did you guys win though? Let's revisit that, right? We can't just move on. Great World War I on the gay issue. Do you guys think you won or did you lose?
I think they're all the issues are moving in the right direction because, there was a time when they were very open about that. Turning Point would literally give out stickers with a rainbow flag and said it's a Second Amendment thing. And I love how they try and reframe conservative issues to sound more liberal. We need the Second Amendment so gay people can protect themselves from homophobes. That was the kind of stuff they were doing back then. And now, at the minimum, now they have to reform that pretense again and say, oh, no, we're very religious. Oh, we don't support that. Now, obviously, they still do, and these people are still in the circle. But, there was a poll that just came out and said that with Generation Z and across the board, people are more against gay marriage than they were 5 years ago. And there's actually a state rep in Michigan, Josh Shriver, who proposed a bill in the Michigan House, which would challenge the gay marriage ruling in the Supreme Court. So I do think that things are moving in the right direction. There's still a lot of work towards that end. But yeah, I think traditionalism's on the rise again, but we just got to keep our foot on the gas because the problem is, what Scott posted, or the other guy, the Jewish guy he's in bed with, literally.
He's Jewish.
Yeah, he's Jewish. He's Jewish. And what he said in the tweet was, if you have a problem with this, then you're not conservative. So he's actually challenging Christians on this basis. And it's one thing if you go and you're looking for somebody like Scott and saying, hey, I got a problem with you because privately or discreetly, you're not 100% Christian or whatever. But no, this is the issue. They're challenging the Christians and saying, if you're not down with promoting, contrary.
And I'm going to pause it. You're not going to miss anything. Scott didn't post it. Again, Scott didn't post the last one. This guy is basically trying to take Scott down, I guess.
Lifestyle, a sinful lifestyle, then you're the problem, then you got to go. And this is the issue. It's the same thing with what Elon did back in December.
The H-1Bs.
Right, when Elon said, if you don't support H-1Bs, you're the problem, you got to go. And it's across the board, and like with Jeremy Boring, if you're not down with Israel, then you're out of the conservative movement. And so it's there's a fork in the road. Are we a conservative movement that is Christian, that is against immigration, that is America first when it comes to Israel? Or are we a conservative movement that says, yeah, be gay, be trans, be a feminist. We want legal Indians to come here and replace tech workers. And, it's Israel first. It's all about Israel. Give more money to Israel. And if you put it like that, if you put out a ballot to conservatives and there was a referendum, people would side with the Groypers. People would side with America first.
And if you don't, you might as well just attend the Rainbow Pride Parade. You might as well just be a Democrat. What's the difference?
Christian anti-immigration as opposed to the latter. And it's to your point, now that we're on a mainstream platform like Rumble or X, now that we actually have a fighting chance, we're on a sort of a level playing field. All of a sudden now the ground has shifted underneath these other people. And now the gatekeepers are having to explain why, in the case of Jeremy Boring, people prefer Candace Owens over Ben Shapiro. People prefer Nick Fuentes over whoever. So that's why I think things are moving in the right direction, but we have to stay aggressive and not let people get complicit about where we are.
Yeah, but the Charlie Kirk, it's actually shocked me today. Now, I like Charlie. I know Charlie. I know you guys go way back. I think actually one of the first times we interacted was at Politicon in LA when Charlie was speaking there, and they didn't even let you in the room. I'm pretty sure they didn't even let you into the speech, right?
Yeah.
That was 2018, 2019?
2019, yeah, Nashville.
Okay. No, this was LA.
No, it was Nashville. When we met?
No, I think you were there. They just blocked you guys or whatever.
That was at Politicon in Nashville.
Was that? Okay, I don't even remember where I was. That's crazy. Gotta stop.
Stop drinking.
Yeah, I gotta stop everything. I gotta stop everything. I gotta rethink my life. No, but I was gonna say it is interesting with all this being said and done. There's a lot of this gaslighting going on, and that sucks because we like to gaslight. You know what I mean? They're trying to steal our game. Like I want to gaslight them, but there's a lot of gaslighting. Let's talk about some of it. Go to my post here. I like Joel. This is crazy. A lot of these guys are all very smart. This is actually insane. They're smart. They're rich. And they think that we're stupid, kind of, with the things they've been posting recently. And I don't understand, because Joel's not a dumb guy, and he's built a great business, and he's made a lot of money. And he comes out and he's like, another reminder that expressing public disagreement is not censorship or cancellation. This is, sort of the conservative establishment talking about Israel, and disagreeing with Candace, with anyone who talks about it, saying that if you talk about Israel, it has to be because you're getting paid from Qatar, right? It literally is insane. You have to be taking money. It's not because you care about your country. It's not because you see that your government's occupied. It's not because you want your government to work for its people, and you ask yourself, why is it not working for its people? Well, maybe because we're not its people. Maybe the government looks like us and they seem to come from us. But what if they're serving another occupation? What if there's a different group of people and their interests that they're serving, and it's not us? Maybe it's not on accident. Maybe it's not Democrat policies and bad governments and incompetence and all these excuses people make. Maybe there's actually a genuine group of people that the government is serving, and it's not us. Have you ever thought about that? So if you notice that and you see that and you want something better for your kids, they start saying, well, I think actually even Joel explained it. You could be possessed by the devil or demons or whatever. So there's a dark thing happening, right? This is really dark. People talk about Israel is demonic.
They can feel that way. Real quick, I was talking about the dancing Israelis. I saw Max on X. If you're on X, you know who I'm talking about, DeSantis camp, allegedly. Max was trying to say the dancing Israelis wasn't a real thing. And he knows it's a real thing. He knows that I know it's a real thing. It's demonic. It's something has possessed them, and I think it is, I'm not joking, of the devil.
It is crazy because they're like, expressing public disagreement is not censorship or cancellation. And this goes on the back of, this is the best gaslighting I've heard. And Mike, we've been talking about this. Jew hate is big business, right? It is, Israel,
actually, it makes you broke.
Yeah. But that's what I want to talk to you
Nick,
about.
You're a perfect example with the banking system, everything there. We recently were attacked as well after putting out a few posts. So it's not
some Jewish people from the Trump admin, putting some pressure on us to try to take us out, But I mean, this is what's crazy. Disagreement is not censorship or cancellation. I'd say 100% you're an example that speaking about these things does bring cancellation and censorship. You've been people that are new to you that don't know you here. I mean, it's been pretty bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, here's the thing about these people. They never engage in good faith. They always engage in bad faith. And that's where you have to start. Because a lot of people look at a tweet like that, or any of these tweets about the Qatari money or anything like that, and people start to come up with arguments. They formulate arguments, and they say, wait, that's not true. Of course people are being censored. Of course it's being canceled and all these things. You can't get angry about it because they sort of have like this series of defenses. And so when one of them fails, then they just fall back on another one. So they'll go to people and say, well, this is anti-Semitic when that fails. Oh, well, they're being paid by Qatar when that fails. Well, you're not actually being canceled. But you have to start by saying, okay, This is a person that's clearly taking money from Israel in some form. This is a person who's clearly on that team. And you just have to disregard what they're saying because it's obvious. Like, yes, people are canceled for talking about these things. And it happened to me. I mean, I was an 18-year-old kid. I mean, people have heard this story before many times, but I was an 18-year-old freshman in college who just said, hey, why do we give Israel all this foreign aid money? Like, isn't that strange? Isn't that conspicuous? That's the question. And Daily Wire, who I was in touch with at that time, you know, some of Ben Shapiro's people, they literally sent clips of my show to Media Matters, which is a left-wing group, which is a left-wing Soros group, to post hit pieces about me, which eventually led to me being censored. Same thing during the Groyper War with Charlie Kirk. Benny Johnson, who is very popular, he's on this network, he's on Rumble. Benny Johnson put out this giant thread, a mega thread of all these clips calling me a racist, a sexist, an anti-Semite, everything you can think of. 2019.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah, it's still up. It's still up. You could go on Benny Johnson's Twitter from November, December 2019, and he literally put together the greatest hits when we were laying into Charlie Kirk and said, here's Nick making a joke about segregation. Here's him saying women should be in the kitchen. Here's him making a joke about the Holocaust. Here's him. And it's like the ADL couldn't have done it better themselves. SPLC, I mean, this is just a straight up hit piece. And so
it's unfortunate.
And it's like you said, it's gaslighting.
Yeah.
Because they cancel you, they censor you, they blackball you, they whisper. There's a whisper campaign. I get in a picture with someone like Elijah and they text him and say, hey, don't ever do that again. Are you sure you want to do that? And then they'll go on Twitter and say, well, just because we disagree, that doesn't mean you're being canceled. It's like, okay, so when you're not doing the whisper campaign in private, then you go on Twitter and say there's no cancellation, we just disagree. I mean, that's a bunch of BS. And they know that. And that's the point. They know they're lying. They know they're lying through their teeth. And that's why you can't engage with them in good faith. You just have to disregard people like that. But it's just
a quick interjection. I think the big thing is interacting with these. I agree 100% with everything they said. If you're interacting on X, you need to quote tweet with facts that are uncomfortable for them. And that ends it. Because when they reply, it just boosts your post. That's the best way I think.
Question of now. And again, it all comes back to platform access. This is something I talked about on my last show on Thursday. For the past 5 or 6 years, after Trump got elected, there was this intense censorship against anybody that talked about any of these things. And the only people that were left standing are the people that don't. The Daily Wire crowd, the Turning Point crowd, people like Joel Berry. And they were the biggest beneficiaries of the censorship. Because the censorship, although they cried about it, it only affected the far right. It only affected people that were called white nationalist, anti-Semite, Christian nationalist, Christian fanatic. People that were promoting the gay stuff, Israel, the free market, they were untouched by censorship. And so for all that time, they ignored us, blackballed us, facilitated the censorship, like I said, doing the ADL's job for them. In some cases, finding the clips, posting the threads. Now that thanks to Elon Musk, not thanks to them, not thanks to the Trump administration, not thanks to the conservative movement, thanks to Elon buying Twitter and putting us back on the internet, now that we get to have a voice too, now they say, oh, well, we never canceled anybody. We never blackballed anybody. And again, it's like I said from the start, it's this always shifting goalpost. It's this Mott and Bailey where when one defense fails, they just fall back on another bullshit line. And so you just have to consider them, part of this enemy force. They're not engaging in good faith. So, these Joel Berry types, it's just scumbag stuff. And here's the thing about that Qatar narrative.
Is that how you say it? Qatar?
Qatar. Well, it's like it's an Arab word. It has no vowels. It's like QTR. So it's like Qatar is how you would pronounce it, like Arabic. So you say Qatar, Qatar, whatever. But they all say Qatar money. Everyone's getting Qatar money. Did you notice that they all started saying that at the exact same time?
Yeah.
Thank you, by the way, for this Qatari money. Yeah,
So lame.
straight from Qatar Airways. Yeah, but they all started saying it at the exact same time. Candace and Ian Carroll and Andrew Tate are calling out Israel on the same day on the big platforms, and then all at the same time, almost like a phone call was made. Almost like there's a group chat. Almost like, there's some coordination. All at the same time, they say, it's Qatar money. No one's calling out Qatar. No one's talking about this, that, and the other. And it's like, that's the whole point. Like, they're all in on it. It's all. And the thing about this issue is it's so obvious. It's so blatant. It is just beyond dispute at this point. If you want the facts, you could look them up. The ADL brags about how they have a line to every social platform to get people banned. During the Yay 24 campaign, Jonathan Greenblatt said, we had to take him out. Who's we? What do you mean take him out? They brag about it. The ADL, they were passing secrets to Israeli spies. It's documented. AIPAC is not registered under FARA, and Israeli intelligence said, we can't have FARA applied to Israeli money because the people that are taking it would lose credibility. There's a piece in The Guardian
it's like
about
an Epstein type of thing where it's like, well, we can't expose the bad, pedophiles because there's some people we need in the government that are still around that were also on the plane. So then you don't get anything.
Right.
I will say though, with the money though, I want to say something very important. We talked about it last night. I was offered money from Qatar back in DC. I won't out who it was and stuff like that, but it was very, very simple. And so there is money, right? This is actually true. There is Qatari money. However, I can tell you this though. The reason why I didn't take that money is the same reason why I didn't take the offer from RT as well, the Russian money that I was offered, because I go, there could be some sketchy things involved in that. Even if I wasn't asked to do anything against my conscience, certain countries, you're like, I got to be careful taking money from them because this could be a honeypot deal. Right. However, I wrote a post as well on X, and this is a true statement, and I stand by it, and I bet my reputation on it, and I could take it to court. I am in an NDA with the company, and so I, really don't want to cause myself any legal trouble. But I did talk about it. Check this out. I said, jokes aside, I've genuinely been offered thousands of dollars to lie on behalf of the IDF on my X account multiple times. I've documented it publicly when it happened. They bombed unarmed teams walking and asked a few of us to say that it wasn't a bomb from the IDF, but an IED they were holding that accidentally went off. They wanted us to falsely label innocent civilians as Hamas terrorists. This was back closer to the start of their war. Quite a few of my colleagues shared the info willingly, even after I flagged it was false. This was not the first or last time I was offered money to create propaganda for Israel. A lot of organizations on the right are taking their dollars and are bought and paid for, but those of us who worked inside know the game, and it's not even a secret. Funny how they'll always accuse you of what they're doing. The thing is it's like it's like when the left calls you gay, and it's like, I thought gay was good. You should, if you're gonna make fun of someone, don't use gay as a slur if you think gay is good. It's that same kind of argument where you're saying taking money from a foreign government is like some standard that undermines your credibility, right?
Yeah,
It's like, well, they're taking money from a foreign government, so they've got to be, fucked in the head. And it's like, hey, I was offered money from a foreign government. Yeah, it was through an NGO, but it was literally to ask for a lie. Check out the video here. I even included the video that they asked us to lie about here. This is the one. So check this out.
Terrible video.
So this is terrible. So let me mute it real fast.
Oh yeah.
So these guys are walking. That's what they said. These teens are just walking to
They
their
get eliminated.
fucking house, and they're just walking.
I don't comment too much on these videos because of the cloud of war. I don't know what's real or not. I definitely saw this though.
Now watch. And as they're going, you'll see two explosions.
Just
the first one is the
cloud of
first
smoke.
bomb, the targeted bomb. The second is the
It's just literally a poof of smoke here.
to say about this video. So they're walking. I don't know how long it takes here. It's the cruelty and the precision of these bombs is just nuts. And
This is important, y'all. I mean, I said earlier today, I've said it before, with the way that they're lying, especially when the people they're talking to, they know I know that they know that I know that they know that they're lying. I think they would, if they could snap their fingers and delete everybody who's not a Zionist, maybe the NPCs they would leave, like the people who just don't care, but everyone who's actively speaking out against Zionism, not even just the Jays or Israel, Zionism in general, they would snap their fingers and have their 98 Motorola pagers blow up. They would have no problem with it. Some of them might not have the heart to do it themselves, but they would wish somebody else did it. That's how evil that's how evil they are.
clearly have no threat. You can see that they're not doing anything nefarious. They're not.
See, I don't know who they are though. I don't know what I can't tell that they're teenagers. So I can't comment on this.
running. They're not doing anything to cause problems, and they just get taken the fuck out here in a second.
It's crazy.
It's just like.
And on X, you see all these you see these videos all the time. You see them on Ukraine, Russia. It's just like, man, it's almost like a video game, but like just with a visceral feeling.
Incredible. Let me see. Let me start to skip ahead here real fast.
Yeah, the one I saw wasn't that long. He has a,
Oh yeah,
there it
watch,
is.
dude, look at
Just a puff of
this. They're
smoke.
walking and just
crazy.
boom,
Yo.
watch, and then watch the second explosion.
That's
So what they told me to
wild.
say was, and by the way, we're talking about $2,000 for a tweet, by the way, and there was many of these have been asked.
That's it? Shoot, I know I make nothing on this channel, but if somebody offered me $2,000 to lie about that video, hell no. Are you crazy? Man, I have to think about it for like 200,000. 2 million. Is that worth my soul? What am I going to do with that when I die? I mean, I could pass it to my kid, but nah, I'm good, man. I'm good. I don't need your shekels.
Many times, but it gets even worse. One of the teens gets away, right? One of the teens gets away right here, and then they just blow him up while he's just walking. You know, like it's so. And then what they said is okay. Here was the thing. This is how they ask you. They go, there is a terrible misinformation going out about an attack that could escalate warfare and bring the U.S. into the war. So we want to de-escalate the war and make sure that, like this, so you put it in like a pro-America side. This is about keeping American troops off the ground. There was 4 Hamas terrorists who were carrying an IED to put it next to a tank, and then they were because one went off and then the other one flew, was a grenade or something, an IED, and then exploded. But if you zoom in the footage and you increase it, you actually can just see the guided bombs coming down and blowing them up. And what's crazy is that certain people, one of them works for Turning Point USA, she was like, wow, 4 Hamas. I saw the exact prompt I was asked to write. And I was like, and then in the comments here, I was going to say this. In my comments, right? It's like all of these people that are like, let me go here.
I guess they really are cheap. $2,000 to lie about that? Oh, man, they selling out for nothing, man.
All of these...
Especially these people, they make... I mean, some of them make... that on one video.
Random ass people that are like,
see, that's more like, I think that's more like, you take this money or we will stop your other money from flowing. That's the opportunity cost here. It's not the 2K. I'm just thinking through it because I just heard it now. It's not the 2K. It's the turning down the 2K and then the rest of your income drying the hell up. That's what it is.
Like Max, you know this guy, Max Nordo,
Yeah.
No, you didn't.
I was just talking about him. This is the guy I was just talking about.
Didn't. I'm like, strong argument. I guess it didn't happen then, And then like people, there's all these types of people. You're a liar. Why? Why am I a liar? And it's just like there was a bunch of these random people. Like, yeah, Hal Levi. The lies are just astounding. And it's like David Kate. That guy's funny. Can we see the offer letter? And it's like, guys, you just watched a video of teenagers getting blown up
And
that
that's
were
your
unarmed,
take. Yeah.
and you're challenging the fact. Like, you're challenging this. I'm just bringing this up. Israel offers money. I've been offered money from Israel, and everybody's taking it. Yeah. Everybody's taking it.
Well, in that account that replied to you, that Max Nordau is a pseudonym. It's a fake name. Max, if you look up Max Nordau on Wikipedia, he's a famous Zionist. He's a famous Zionist from like 100 years ago. And the Max Nordau account was like a DeSantis surrogate. He was like, he's largely, Laura Loomer alleges that he was a spokesperson.
Okay, he said alleged, yep.
Person for the DeSantis campaign. And on the DeSantis campaign, I've been told this. You literally had people on the DeSantis campaign that would stand over, watch the speeches be written, and say, "Oh, you're not talking enough about Israel. You need to include more stuff about Israel." And here's the thing: people don't know that goes on in the conservative movement. The rubes that are out there that never go to DC, that aren't involved in this operation, they don't know that the people they follow on Twitter don't even run their own Twitter accounts, don't write their own books, that they're getting paid under the table by, various groups to write different tweets, post videos for social media campaigns. Like you said, you were offered money. You see other people writing the same prompts. They just don't know. Yeah, thank you. They just don't know that sort of thing is going on. And that's why I say, they are in bad faith. They don't care about the truth. And if they're denying it, it's because they're in on it. Mm-hmm. Like I said, it is so well established that there is $100 million from AIPAC last year. AIPAC spent $100 million in last year's cycle to unseat people in primaries who voted against Israeli foreign aid. And they were open about it. And so you'll have people, again, this is the Mott and Bailey. People say, there's no Jewish money in politics. Okay, maybe there is. But Qatar puts money in too. And then you talk about AIPAC. Well, at least they're doing it openly. I saw Will Chamberlain. Will Chamberlain's Jewish.
He attacks me all the time.
Yeah, he's a Jewish lawyer.
Okay. Is he Jewish? I thought he was Christian. I forgot. I mean, it doesn't matter. I still like him. I know he's Zionist. He's a funny one.
Okay, makes
and
sense.
Will Chamberlain went in with Raheem Kassam to purchase human events. I'm actually told that was like Qatari or Emirati money, that there's $300,000 to buy human events. That was a rumor that went around at one time. Anyway.
All of them are using foreign money. Elon Musk funded the purchase of X with, I forget all the countries, China in there, all these foreign countries, Saudi Arabia.
But Will Chamberlain, he goes and tweets the other day, because it's the big controversy surrounding AIPAC is that they're not registered under FARA.
Yeah.
Every group that gets money from a foreign government has to register under the Foreign Agent Registration Act so that there's transparency about where they're getting their money. And so, like JFK tried to force the American Jewish Committee to register under FARA when he was killed. Lyndon Johnson just dropped it, didn't force them. And then they basically re-engineered how they spend the money under AIPAC. So people say this is a big problem. AIPAC should register. Other groups should register. Will Chamberlain, who's Jewish, says, well, they don't need to register under FARA because we already know it's all Israeli money. And so it's like, again, this is the kind of stuff they do. It's this Mott and Bailey where you say, there's Jewish money. That's anti-Semitic. Okay, but it's factual. Well, there's other money going in. Okay, but they should register under FARA. Well, we already know that it's Jewish money. And so there's just no way you're going to win because they're agents, they're spies. Mm-hmm. That's why we call it the Matrix, because you think you're dealing with people, you're dealing with agents that work for the system. So the goal is not to argue with a Will Chamberlain, a Max Nordau, a Joel Berry. The point is to expose them.
But real quick, I didn't know Will Chamberlain. So Will Chamberlain, lawyer, his mother is Jewish, allegedly. This is via the source of, him. It's from X. On Twitter in 2023, he posted, my mother is Jewish, but I identify as a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. So that's why I was confused. Wow, I didn't even know that. Every single effing time.
It's to humiliate them. It is to destroy their credibility. It is to expose them. It's to say, you're not an honest actor. You're an agent. And that way people stop listening to them. But people need to be aware that we're playing a different game than they think we are. People think we're playing a game where, we're trying to persuade Charlie Kirk like he doesn't know. He's ignorant. And we're saying, you gotta read this book. You gotta get.
He's way smarter than me. These guys are way smarter. They know way beyond.
Red Pill. He knows
They're
what's
well
up.
Aware.
They're paid off. So the game is to convince the people by humiliating and exposing the system. Mm-hmm. And that's why people say, why does Charlie Kirk debate the governor of California? Why does he debate socialists? If socialism is so evil and kills 100 million people, why do you sit on a stage and debate socialists, but not a far-right person? Like you said, not a Catholic virgin pushing American nationalism. It's because that's not part of the game. It's like, in The Dark Knight when they say that's not part of the plan. It's not according to plan. You can debate the people on the left. You can't debate the people on the far right flank. So,
and it makes everyone famous too, because I think we can maybe call it Vivek Ramaswamy-ing someone. He's someone who just got exposed on the world stage. I felt vindicated after years of warning people. And remember, they insulted me at the RNC. Security did. It's very, very personal. I don't like Indian people. There's more to the statement. I don't like Indian people, assaulting me, But some people don't like Indian people. Of course, it's not me. I love everyone. So, no hate there. But Charlie Kirk actually was being asked a question. And this is sort of where I think what we've talked about and where the desperation is coming is people are really, really pissed off these days. Like, we are really angry. I look around and, our own employee here, Earl, he's like, he got back from Europe and he's like, bro, I was in the Miami airport and like, it was like bug people, just like Hispanic, like round people, like stick legs, like everyone's talking. He's like, dude, I know that a lot of countries have gotten, the immigration thing wrong in the West, but like the US is like the most fucked I've seen. You guys always talk about Europe and stuff. He's like, I've just never seen a place more like where you're in a third world and if you don't feel like you're in a Western country than here, he's like, he goes, literally, I'm like taller than everyone. He's just, Chad Australian, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm just taller than everyone. I'm like sitting around like, do I look like this? Like these people are like aliens. And I think that's what's happening is like people are realizing they're living in an alien country. Like this is not This is not a Western country anymore. You have to be rich to live in the West now, right?
Right.
If you're a middle class which is shrinking, you don't live here anymore. You're living in this weird, unsafe, dangerous third world nation. And people want that to change. And so when Vivek said, hey, we want to bring more Indians over, here's the problem. We've seen what's happening in Toronto, in Vancouver, what's happening in Sydney and Melbourne. We see what's happening in Auckland. Do you know that New Zealand's about to be the first of the white countries that's going to be minority white? It's about to hit there, I think, 2028. It's going to be minority.
Okay.
And now in New Zealand, the
that.
number one last name is Singh. So it's Singh and then Patel. So look, they're going down. No one knows about New Zealand, but the sheep herders are not doing well.
That's messed up.
This is a fucking, like, we're fighting for our lives.
Yeah,
okay,
this
like
is
white
serious,
people are
man.
fighting for our lives, and I think that a lot of people, it's not a conversation anymore.
For non-whites, what that means is America. I mean, if you don't care about the idea of America and really what the country was founded on, Declaration of Independence, Constitution, then you shouldn't care. I really wouldn't care if I were you. You're gonna be less safe probably, but what's the big problem? But for those who do care, if you want to know why, if whites go down, Christian white men fail, this whole thing is done.
This is not oh, Charlie, I disagree with you. It's just, Charlie, if you are not on board with me, you're part of the problem and you're going to get my kids fucking killed. We don't want to be like the Boers. We don't want to, we see what's happened in Rhodesia. May it live on. Rhodesia never died. But we see that. Check this out. He gets interviewed about bringing in, if America could be Indian. Listen.
Should be avoided? Like, will America still be America if it's 90% Indian, it's 90% Chinese? Or is there a stock, a certain kind of people with a certain I will answer the question this way. America will cease to be America if it does not have a Christian foundation.
Judeo-Christian foundation.
Yeah.
That is how I will answer. So if it's 90% Indian Christian, is that still America? If it's Christian, yes. Should be avoided.
So apparently everybody in India is just an undocumented American. You saw that to the 2.4% of Christians there. They're Americans. They just don't have a passport.
Right. Yeah, well, and then he tried to do damage control later and say, well, I didn't understand the question. And of course he understood the question in context. The guy asked, is there a racial or ethnic basis for nationality, for nationhood, for national identity? And Charlie Kirk says, well, the foundation of America is that it's Christian. And that's the new thing. That's like what's trending now, because 6-7 years ago, they said it's the Constitution. As long as we have the Constitution, it's America. And his line was, you could go on a desert island, and as long as you had the Constitution, that would be America. Now, because, and again, they're playing catch up. They're trying to sound like us, or trying to sound like what appeals to the base. They say, well, it's a Christian nation, as long as well, what if it's all Indians and they're Christian? Then is it America? Yes, as long as they're... And then he gets blown out. It goes viral. I think AF Post posted the clip.
Yeah.
And people go, this is bullshit. Of course that wouldn't be America. And then he goes and writes this essay. Well, what I meant was that, Christianity is a part of America, this and that. And here's the missing word from that statement, in both statements, the corrected one and the original one, which Elijah's pulling up. The mention of race. This is the thing that they cannot touch, race and ethnicity, which is that race has anything to do with what it means to be an American, that race has anything to do with what it means to be European, Western, anything like that. And they're at this point now, Conservative Inc. is in this sort of uncomfortable position where they know they can't keep pushing civic nationalism.
Yep.
They know they can't keep telling Americans,
That's why this is bubbling up.
America's an idea, America's a concept, it's abstract. At the same time, they also can't say it's about race, because then people start to say, so what? Black people aren't Americans? So what? We're not, we're white nationalists? So they're in this uncomfortable position where they want to have it both ways. And I said in the reply to Charlie Kirk's response, I said, just say race, just say white. America was founded by white people. European is a race. Europeans are distinct from Asians, Africans, the indigenous people here. They look
It's not just race. He says it too. It's race and faith, religion.
different, act different, have a different level of development. They just are different. If you have white people forming a country, it will look one way. If you have non-white people, it will look another way.
This is race realism. I talked about this with Iggy. He actually kind of broke me. I mean, I knew of it, but he brought me into it more. Iggy Ignoramus, the homie.
like the way America is, or the way it used to be. We want it to be that way for our kids. We want it to be that way in the future. That means it can't be non-white.
Everyone benefits from that.
That means it cannot be transformed into a non-white place. that means we have to stop immigration from non-white countries. But nobody wants to frame it in those terms. And there's something involved in this where, we live in a democracy. We live in a capitalist society. And the uncomfortable reality of these systems is that they're universal. Why do we talk about things when we say they're corporate? And we know what that means. They're sterile. We know what that means. It's because if you're a company, you have to appeal to everybody in the country. If you're trying to sell a product, you're trying to sell to as many people as possible. And you can't offend anybody because then,
That's not
if it's a publicly traded company, your stock price falls. And the same is true in a democracy. Why can't politicians talk about race? Because they got to win everybody's vote. And not only non-white people, but white people that are sympathetic to non-white people. And so as long as we're in this system, it's sort of like we can never really tell the truth because we're always trying to appeal to everybody involved. Voters, consumers, that if you're Charlie Kirk, if you're JD Vance, if you're trying to sell a group, if you're trying to run for office, you have to please everybody. And you can't please everybody and save America. That's sort of the uncomfortable position because it's like somebody's going to have to stand up and say, look, we prefer whites. Like that's our preference.
Whoa. I'm not going to.
I do have very slight disagreement here. I do think America is an idea. I don't understand. Somebody help me out. What does it mean that it's not an idea? America is not the land. America is the belief in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. Those are ideas. So I don't understand that. It is an idea. If you bring in all Jeets and they all believe in the Declaration of Independence in an originalist manner and the Constitution, same way that I do, maybe many of you do, then yeah, America will still be America. If they honestly believe that. And I would side with the Jeets way more, Dr. Shiva Dore, for example, and also Jewish people too, Dave Smith or whoever, Jen Perlman, whoever you want to talk about. I do side with them more than someone like Jeremy Boring, who purports himself to be Christian, but that he's not a Christian in my eyes. So I don't understand. I'm not understanding how it's not an idea. Somebody help me out with that. But of course, I also understand that's just a hypothetical. In reality, in race realism, you don't import millions of Jeets and Mexicans and Asians, Eastern philosophy, and all these other people who are non-European whites, and they're going to believe in the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. It's not going to happen. But I still have to parse that out because there are people who are Jewish or whatever, I don't care, Muslim, whatever they are, that I align with more than people who say they're Christian white males. But overall, when that's just like in the micro. In the macro, it's always going to be the majority of people that are going to side with that are going to be white Christian males. So I think that's the right way to present it. I don't really agree that America's not an idea. What do you mean it's not an idea? What else is it? This land is not America. The land, you could do it anywhere. It just happened to be here. Let me know where I'm off on that. It's not a huge disagreement. I mean, just a slight different disagreement.
I'm not going to lie here. The shit that I'm in behind the scenes, one of the things that was brought up is this is not a joke, and I got the message about it was, he's talking about race a lot. Particularly, he's mentioned the white race a lot on his page. This guy's an alt-right, adjacent neo-Nazi. So what did I do to save my Connie connections right now? I had Nick Fuentes on the show, which was a great choice, right? Here's some air horns for that, please. Yeah, there you go. No, but it is. And the reason why people say, well, why do you talk about race? I go, but why aren't you?
Yeah, what do you mean? Why am I talking about race? How could you not talk about race? There's actually distinct differences. Have you seen how the bald-headed black women are acting on MSNBC? I just saw Simone Sanders crash out, literally, on Elon Musk. And I've got beef with Elon Musk, but he sent Starship up and exploded. They're running tests. And she's singing songs and kind of happy that the spaceship blew up. I'm like, you don't bring anything to society. At least Elon, I disagree with Elon on stuff, but he is bringing something to the table, that's for sure. Intelligence, business, engineering, smarts, political acumen. Bitch, you bring nothing to the table. You're just a bald-headed black. You're worse than Joy Reid. So why are you laughing about Starship blowing up? You don't even have the mental capacity to understand. Why are you even talking about politics? Do you have a man? Go find a man, or I don't know what you are. And there was a thing that went viral with this unhinged black talking about this woman. I don't know, this young lady who had I guess she's white, that had braids in her hair, as if there was some affront to her blackness. She looked unhinged, unkempt. I'm like, what is going on? Of course I'm going to talk about race. But nobody looks at these things and sees 90% of blacks voting with, even after Trump, what is it, 80%? I forgot what the numbers are, voting with Democrats, and think, I'm going to side with blacks. What? How? Why? I don't see eye to eye with them. That's a distinct difference. Whites, 70%, mostly men actually though, but more on the Trump or right side. That's just obvious. India's different than America. Qatar is different than America. Israel is different than America. We can't ignore these things.
One thing I love about the woke people and stuff that, they're going to love this clip, right? This is what calls woke right, is I love that at least woke people are willing to be honest about like issues. Like they'll be like, hey, being gay isn't just like a thing. It's like, it's an identity, and it shapes who you are, and you are gay and you now part of a community and you think differently. And it's like, yeah, I actually agree with that. You know what I mean? I actually do agree. I don't think most people are going to just be gay and act like a normal straight person or whatever. I think that it does come with a lifestyle. Your choices have consequences. And so it's not like you just be normal and then you're just getting fucked in the ass. It's like, when you're doing that, it's going to change the way you think. Then you're going to be around people like that. And then, you're going to create a new culture, and then that's going to create a lifestyle. And I'm from Hollywood, and, living around these gay people, they just want to have their orgies, and then the city's falling apart, and they don't care that there's homeless people, that, there's crime, as long as they can have what they want, which is sex. That's what they value.
And this is all related to what I was going to talk about. Maybe I'll come back later tonight. I'm going to have to put the kids to sleep, and I think I might come back later tonight and do
the same goes with
the live I was going to do right on this topic. You might have seen the clip going viral of this black woman. What's it? I don't even know how to pronounce it. Is it Dochi? I don't know. I don't listen to them, talking about how straight black men is a red flag for her when she goes on a date. Just absolute depravity and disgusting behavior. And you look behind the curtain. I'm like, who's behind this? And it's always a damn J. I'm not ignoring the pattern recognition that I see.
Like race and everything. It's like, dude, listen, man, no one wants to live in a Hispanic area in LA. No one wants to live in a black neighborhood in Chicago. And no one will say that, right? But I really think it's important to talk about because, quite frankly, I pay a lot of money to live where I live, right? It's a very expensive city. Trump lives here. You know what I mean? Like, he's right up the street. He literally lives in my house. No, but he lives around here. And the way we did it is, noticer over here, intern, he showed me, I was like, where should I move in Florida? And then he sent me a crime map. So I moved to where there was the lowest crime. Also happens to be the lowest black population in like South Florida.
Go figure.
That's kind of crazy, huh?
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is like race is a field of knowledge. It would be like if you're trying to talk about how to build a skyscraper without talking about engineering, or mathematics or something. It's a field of knowledge. When we're talking about sociology, we're talking about political science.
It's just common sense, guys. If your lineage is through Africa, you have melanin because the sun will burn your effing skin off. You're in the desert. Your body has adapted, and you might, IQ-wise, and it's not even low or high IQ. It's more your instincts and your knowledge are expertise in different things. Maybe you have to fight more. Maybe you have to learn how to live with less water more, or different things that, because of your environment, that's how you grew up. And then now we're all mixed in together, and now we're saying we're all the same. Well, no, I think our lives are worth the same, but we're not the same. We're all different.
You're sort of just like, it's injurious to not talk about a field of knowledge which is extremely relevant. You can't build a country without considering how people group each other, how people identify, the different level of salience for each of these different identities. And, we all recognize why they don't do it. It's not because, and this is sort of what I'm getting at, it's not because of the truth value or the value of the truth. It's because it's politically incorrect. It's because politically there's consequences for talking about it. And we could persist in the delusion. People can pretend it doesn't exist. But like you said, we're feeling the effects of it. The country is noticeably less white now than it was 20 years ago. And I know that because, I'm 26 now. I could remember what it was like 20 years ago. I remember what it was like in the early 2000s. And we were already pretty deracinated at that point.
So gotta, and I mean this in a political manner, I'm very non-violent. Violence is at this point, really a language of a Neanderthal, somebody who has nothing to really provide here. We're playing chess. It would be like playing chess and saying, I'm going to fight the person I'm playing. It's just ridiculous. You have to politically fight for the positions. And that's what he's talking about, to win people over. The country's being less white. So if you're bringing somebody over here from this Asia, for example, they're built to adhere to an all-being master. It's a collective mind, like almost you're a drone honeybee. So we're not, that's not America. And maybe that is other parts of the world, and they come here because for whatever reasons, and we've got to, there's no law that fixes that. We've got to say, this is how it goes here. We don't do worker bee hive mind. We have guns. It's the Second Amendment. And they should not be trampled upon. I know you're not used to that, but that's how we roll here. And if you can't do that, and as you funnel more and more people in, who's behind that? We've talked about that. We know the same term, look behind the curtain, a lot of the same J's behind it. You have to do more to win that battle of information and propaganda.
And so the question becomes, in a practical way, what happens when your kids are going to a public school because, you're middle class, you can't afford private school, and all the kids in the school are Indian, or Mexican, and they're saying the Pledge of Allegiance in Spanish, because that's how it is in Chicago. If you go into the west side of Chicago, you go into the west suburbs, they say
it's everywhere. My kids had to put all the kids in just generalized classrooms, figure out who could speak English and who couldn't, and then split them out.
Pledge in Spanish.
That's
all
wild.
the kids are in ESL. Their English is a second language. That's just how it is now. And if you go to other neighborhoods, if you go out to Aurora in Illinois, if you go to Northern Virginia, all Indians and Arabs, and they're taking off for Diwali, and they're taking off for all their holidays. And you start seeing structures literally go up in these suburbs of like Indian deities, like Hindu deities. Do we want to live in a country where there's like statues of Vishnu going up? Do we want to live in a country where everyone's taking a day off for Diwali or, Pledge of Allegiance in Spanish?
Or they're doing interviews barefoot in their living room.
And what does it feel like when your kids are in a classroom where nobody looks like each other and they're picked on for being white or something like that? I mean, I went to London a couple of years ago to do Pearl Davis's show. I was in some shopping mall and I saw a field trip from like a grade school or a high school. Every single one of them was Sikh. They all had the Sikh headgear on. They're all brown. And it's like, this is a country where nobody's even familiar. Who the fuck wants to live in this country? And it's not like, but that's not, it always gets bound up in, well, you hate them for being Indian. You hate them for who they are.
Well, I do.
Yeah.
No, I'm totally joking. That's a joke.
That's how it's always framed. And, oh, you don't like them. Oh, you're racist. It's like, well, is it hateful to prefer being around your own kind? Right. It might be racist, but it's not hateful. And people need to kind of get comfortable with like, look, if I'm being called racist, but we live in a country where I'm comfortable and my kids are comfortable, I'll gladly be called a racist. I don't give a shit, because like our quality of life is going to deteriorate to an unacceptable level. And people are saying, oh, well, what are you going to do? Get called racist? Yeah, it's worth it. And as time goes on, as the cost for living in a non-white country grows, that risk analysis where people say, is it worth stepping out of line, being accused of being a bigot? It's going to change. And I think you're going to get more of a pro-white politics. I think you already are, because people don't want to deal with it. Nobody wants to live in a place like this. And now you see these videos of the Indians, the street food, it's all become very popular.
Yeah.
I mean, the lack of hygiene and, Vivek, he's in the interview with his shoes and socks off.
Yeah.
Who the fuck does that? It's disgusting.
People who worship demons.
Yeah, that's right.
What I mean? But they were gearing us up. And I think that this is a fight for our lives. Like I mentioned, what happens is people like me, I have two sons, right? Beautiful, blonde hair, blue-eyed, cutest little dudes you ever meet. One's two, one's...
He's right. This is a morality. I'm going to have to end here. I want to get him to bed. Maybe I can do my live, but I'll stop it here. It is morality, and I'll talk about it, hopefully, if I do it later. We just don't have the same morals. And that's really what it comes down to. I'll talk about that later tonight. Thanks all for checking it out. Good stream here, obviously. Nick Fuentes, Elijah Schaffer. I am 99% sure I'm going to do a live later tonight.
The next clip is ready below. Welcome to After Show Carnage.